Well, good morning. Welcome to Wednesday. My brain wasn't working as I took my piece of paper out and left it at my house and all the things. So good thing I have a backup on my phone and online backup. So I'll reading from my backup this morning. But it's good to be back on a Wednesday and continue to press through these different dimensions of wellness. We have a few more to go after this week. It's been nice to be able to do that, and there'll be a wrap up week trying to summarize just some key words of each dimension to kind of pull it all together as we get to the conclusion of this as we wrap up February and probably dip into March a bit. So it's been good to write about that, good to see how things flow from one to another. We end up this week in the financial dimension of wellness, coming off of work last week. Hopefully, you remembered some of those key phrases like where's your identity exist, right? Is it beyond just your occupation? And how do you attend to that through the course of your week? And then this one with financial dimension of wellness, we kind of start with one of those themes that we speak about a lot, right? Don't be controlled by things, whether that's technology, whether it's through work, whether it's through substances, whatever else. Well, this week, it's like this idea of can you control money rather than it control you? There were three really ways to focus on that on Monday's email. The first one was like, right, using money to bless others, like bless people or passions. It's the best use of money I would offer when you have an opportunity to control it to a degree where you can be very choosy of when you use that to bring a different outcome than what would be the case. And one of those exercises this week was really saying, can you look around and find out if there's a situation where you just happen to be going about your day and maybe there's an opportunity where there's a need that you can just immediately step in on. It's that simple recommendation to say, can you carry some extra cash with you that is just in that opportunity to bless somebody else or a situation that you encounter. The second one about controlling money so it doesn't control you is to make sure you can use money to overcome or get out of debt situations. There are certain themes that show up in the counseling office that I always joke like I should have gotten another degree in it. Well, sometimes one of those is accounting and financial management because we know that finances will cause some stress as things go through. Most people, when they're trying to do something significant for the sake of themselves or their family, it involves a pretty significant financial decision. And just like we're not always growing up in homes where things are modeled healthily about relationships and emotions, well, sometimes finances weren't modeled very well either, and people are figuring it out as they go forward. So being intentional to do that. And then finally, the idea about controlling money, using it well to bless the relational, emotional situations and have it available to do so when you need it, whether that's self care or whether that's an emergency fund kind of thing. So, in case something comes up for you or someone you care about in your family and your support network, you have a pool of money to be able to come from and do something with. And that was the other exercise this week of can you set aside, can you forego something that's typically part of your week or your month and just put that cash away into some other situation where you don't grab it. Now, it doesn't seem like much of the time, but when you're foregoing something and setting aside that over a month or two or three, you might be able to accumulate something that pays for that unexpected car bill that comes, or pays for something that just was forgotten about and you have to cover that, or whatever else it might be. So, just trying to give some really direction that helps us make sure that we are controlling finances and the effect on us because when we're stressed about finances, our mood's going to follow and we're not taking good care of ourselves. It's easy to get consumed by the stresses of money. And that's what we're talking about this week with trying to stay in control of it. So, speaking about money, right, it takes us to some facts, our facts this week about some money, just interesting ones to talk about. Uh, these are things you can bring up at parties and be impressive to others. A stack of $1 bills 1 mile high would be worth $14.5 million. The little things accumulate. There you go. $1 bills 1 mile high, 14.5 million. Number two, if you didn't know this, U.S. paper bills are actually 75% cotton and 25% linen, not paper. Number three, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing produces 38 million notes a day with a face value of $541 million. That's some busy people. Random one. There are 293 ways to make change for $1. How many? 293. So if you're bored, someone please put that to the test and report back to us if it's there. And hopefully people know this one as well, right? Benjamin Franklin is the only non-president to appear on a bill. And which bill is that one? I know it's early, folks, but come on. Yes, in the corner. $1 bill. No. Maybe add a few zeros to that one. 100. Yes. And there you go. $100 bills. So leads us into other questions. Here's an interesting, fun one. What was the best paying job you ever had as a kid? Think about that, maybe college and down. What was the best or most fun paying job that you ever had as a kid? Well, that's why I'm putting it as a minor, right? Just something that was like, I get paid for this, as a kid. You're can't believe it's not you're getting paid a quarter for doing something. It's just something fun to be able to do. Lifeguard. Some lifeguards in the group this morning. Okay. Any others? College jobs? Fun. I worked at a record store. Classic. I don't think they exist anymore, but I enjoyed them. Sweet. Okay. Others? Hard work. Yeah. Well, I like to answer my own question, and mine was a job in college. We worked at senior PGA golf tournaments for a catering company. So me and my roommates got to spend 3 days just driving around in golf carts, filling up ice in all the ice containers. And, it was like, just go do this. We were kind of on our own, no supervision, oversight, just had to make sure they're fun. We got paid cash, and it was a good time. A really good time. Long hours, but a lot of fun to see some professional golfers and do things without problem. So maybe this is a tougher question to just kind of maybe what's your reaction to this? When you hear the word budget, what's your, do you love that? And you think, oh, that's music to my ears, a budget? Or do you want to flee from that word? Where do you guys fall on that spectrum? Are you a spender or a saver? Budgets restrict and are mean, or they explain the world to you. Where do you fall on that spectrum? It sets your mood for the day. Yeah, yeah. Someone else's budget that's larger, a really big budget. Right, right. It's one of those things, right, that it is a popular word to mention. When people are feeling stressed, it's like, well, let's just do a little math. I mean, most budgets can be done, 80% of a budget can probably be done in about, a half an hour. When you just sit down and talk to people and say, well, generally, what are we dealing with here and what's going out? And then you fine tune the really challenging ones of what's the variable expenses. So if you've not done that, or if it's a struggle, recognize there are lots of things, lots of resources in central Wisconsin to do that. First and foremost, I think is Dave Ramsey has a radio show. It's been out there. He's gone bankrupt, I think, twice and worked his way back. So he's got some good experience about how to manage money, plenty of tools and resources to do it. And then finally, as I recommend, the professionals, it's like there's plenty of people trying to get into the financial industry and get clientele. And so they oftentimes will dedicate some time and be available to help people figure out what to do with their finances as well. So budgets, just find it's in that pathway. It's that direction to be able to go to control money so it doesn't control you. The key word to be able to do that. So some final reasons why this week is really important. I think the debt one is mentioned because it's really easy for debt to rob us of joy and peace. When you have an opportunity to do things. There are certainly very valid reasons to go into debt for things. that people have to do it for themselves or someone they care about. That's the reality. But oftentimes when there's not a plan to get out of that, the chronic nature of it, the long-term nature of it tends to rob people of their peace of mind. So that's why it's important to control finances before they control you. It's also important, I think, to have an understanding, kind of like what's your philosophy of money? What's the point of it? What's the purpose of it? It's not, it's a very personal thing. So to be able to understand what your personal view of why you use money is going to be important as you explain that to yourself and justify the decisions you use, or to explain that to family members or others. When you have a purpose and a point to it, and you know what it means to you, it's a way to keep it in balance. It's not something that you overly dedicate yourself to. We dip into last week about maybe the number of hours that you work is really influenced by what is the point of money. If you need more to be able to do something that's for a good purpose or a passion, it makes more sense. If you're out of control with it, or the debt's out of control and you're working more, that's a slow avalanche downhill to more stress and difficulty. So when you have a point and purpose of money, it's going to be able to go well. And then it's the last comment is this idea is we try and resist the cultural trends of I need it now or impulsivity. That when you have an opportunity to invest money in people and passions, that's the first thing I said today. It's the last thing I'll say. There is less regret when it comes to money when you have a chance to invest that in the people and passions most important to you, because you're going to see the immediate results of that. It's going to reinforce good decisions with finances and not let you fall into some kind of impulsive pattern or unwise use of it. So, just like all the other dimensions of wellness, probably there's been an example you followed. There's been someone who's modeled it for you, or someone who's been devoid of setting a good example. And it's never too late to be able to get a good example, a good plan, a good budget back in place when it comes to finances. Because when it's in control, your well being is much more secure versus having something that every day can feel out of control, feel stressed. And where does all your time, energy, and focus go when it's that way? It goes to that issue that's causing such stress. You don't have the extra time and energy to dedicate to the relational, the physical, the emotional, the occupational dimensions of wellness. So that's why this week is essential to talk about. So practice using the word budget. Enjoy that. Think of the fun jobs you've had. And I hope that it's an opportunity just to bless other people. It's a good use of money, and see how that goes forward for you this week. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you. Have a good workout.